So I think we're just starting the recording and setting the pace. I think this was the best way to chat. But just to brief you, what we would be doing, going through the chat that we wanted to. Um, it is initially we wanted to we'll apprise you about the health bill which has been coming up in the country. A little very brief key points. We would like to have your insights about it, and we would like to discuss things based on it. And yes, what's your opinion and guidance to it? So, this is how we had organized the chat. Many few association leaders are here with us, and many key people who are involved in academics and entrepreneurs and various activities. So, it will be lovely. They would like to chat with you. Okay, so I think Aisha, you hold the command of letting people enter in. I'm making you're the co.
I'm Monica. I don't think this video is currently working.
Okay,
Let's
so
try
you
it,
can.
but I'll try to shift to another network. So give me a moment.
Right. So would you?
Good
Do
morning,
you?
Dr. Verma. Rajesh Wadhwa
Good
here.
morning, Rajesh. Good morning.
Um. So
I'm just trying to see if another network I'm connecting to, will that work?
And for most of you, not morning, but it's good evening. So I hope you had a good Sunday dinner with the family.
Yes.
Okay.
Anita Prema needs the link. I think she's just messaged. Prema's waiting to join in. Okay, I think most of the people are here. Ajit Bhardwaj is in Croatia and he said he will join in through his phone or network. Whatever.
He's joined, ma'am. I just allowed him.
He's joined in. Okay. So I think.
I want to know how his match went.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we would definitely, Prema could join in. Yes. I think we'll make the evening beginning. And Aisha, I request you to control the admit part as we run the show. And even controlling the mute and unmute part of it once we start the meeting, right? So make sure you can mute others who are, if there's anybody. Okay, so a very good evening to everybody, and thank you, Dr. Satya Verma, for joining in India here on behalf of Learn Beyond Vision. This is just an upskilling education platform where we few friends have got together, and I think the whole country probably is supporting us in bringing up this education platform. So today, of course, the link has been done through this education platform, and with me is my co-founder Anita Arvind and my team member Aisha, who are hosting this event. And I'm really grateful to every Indian who's joined in today on behalf of, I think they're passionate about optometry and that's why they are here about it. The other thing is, they all are so much impressed, and I've always looked upon you as a patron, as a mentor, and the example that you have set in for India, that they really are so glad whatever time, I mean, some of them had even canceled their commitments to come and join. Each one has its own concerns to talk to you and learn from you and chat with you. Thanks to this virtual world, and thank you, COVID, that we can now sit in our home. Otherwise, we used to wait for your visit in India to come. And then I remember when you traveled abroad and you had addressed everybody. So we are really proud of the awards that you have given. But before I make the beginning in the evening, I would request Anita to welcome you. Anita, a small welcome from Learn Beyond Vision and all optometrists here in India.
Warm greetings from Learn Beyond Vision, and great welcome to Dr. Satya Verma. Thanks a lot, sir, for joining us today. and we all look up to you as a role model. And we hope this chat kind of inspires all of us to walk towards this path and take up this profession with greater vigor. And as we are heading towards the policy having come up, I think India is looking forward to a change in the optometry scenario in the country, and hope this chat opens up a whole lot of discussion and a lot of inspiration coming our way from your talk. Thank you once again for joining us today. So,
Anita, over to you. Should I share screen? You can. Yeah, thank you. Sound is not there.
Natural for me, and I knew that I can be in healthcare field, I can be a doctor, and at the same time may not have to see blood, which was at that time, because now if you think of it, you do see some blood, little bit. But now, of course, I've become older and my heart has become a little stronger to be able to withstand some of the blood. Otherwise, I could not stand. So that's how my beginning in optometry started. And then, ever since then, it became a very great journey. So I was an optometrist in India before I came here.
Dr. Satya Verma is professor and director of externship program at the Pennsylvania College of Optometry at Salus University. He has been honored by the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. He served as the 100th president of the Pennsylvania Optometric Association. It was during his term as president that Pennsylvania optometrists received therapeutic privileges. Dr. Verma has been elected to the Board of Philadelphia Corporation of Aging, one of the largest area agency on aging in the USA. He just completed his term as the chair of awards committee for the American Public Health Association. He was re-elected to serve a 2-year term as chair of National Academy of Practice in Optometry. Currently, he is the president-elect of NAP and also serves on its public policy committee. Dr. Verma has lectured nationally and internationally and has published several papers and chapters in various books and has also authored a manual for eye care in nursing homes. Dr. Verma has received numerous honors. With more than 46 years of experience, Dr. Satya B. Verma has been identified as a pride of Indian optometry. Learn Beyond Vision team feels privileged to welcome Dr. Satya B. Verma and all our guests today to felicitate Dr. Verma on entering the Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much, Anita. And a small gesture of honor for you, sir. Um, I think we would like to chat with you because we're all wanting so much to listen from you and talk to you. I would first like Rajesh Wadhwa to come forward because the situation. Let me just begin with introducing few associations that we have. You all know we have Indian Optometry Association, and Rajiv Prasad and Subodh Dikshit are here probably in the meeting, who is running one of the oldest association. We also had Indian Optometry Federation, which was the federation of few associations which got in together. Another association was ASCO, which is Association of Schools and Colleges of Optometry, and then the self-regulated Optometry Council of India. There are few associations which are very active in certain states, but most of the states do not have their own optometry associations. So this is general uh, format of our optometry associations. And today, of course, 28th March, when the bill, Health and Allied Health Bill, which is now a commission, which was passed by the Parliament, there the whole thing is under the transition, and we expect. I think it was a dream when we entered into our profession. The fight to regulate had begun, but it was only in this March when we could see that it passed through the Parliament. So I would request Rajesh Wadhwa, who is a very senior optometrist, to come forward and brief in a key points and just let you know a little bit where we are presently with the bill. Anita, would you just introduce Rajesh? Rajesh sir, over to you.
Thank you, Monica. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay. I'll try to see if my screen can be shared, although the video is not going on. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Oh, excellent. So, welcome, sir. Dr. Verma is a wonderful example of hard work, and we congratulate him on being added and honored in the Hall of Fame. Dr. Satya Verma, as has already been said, has worked hard, and it is a self-made achievement what he has. We are going to be talking a little about what progress has been made in the implementation of National Commission for Allied and Health Professionals Act. And this is as of today. For those who may have not have met me, I'm Rajesh Wadhwa, an optometrist, and also happen to be having some qualifications in law. So this National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professions Act 2021, as Monica said, was passed on 28th of March 2021. Primarily, it to us today, concern is of two factors. One is that it's going to look after the standards of education and services by allied and healthcare professionals and assessment of institutions that they maintain a standard of education. And also, the culmination of all this exercise will go for a professional, for an individual, into maintenance of a central register and state register and creation of a system to improve access and research. With this background, let us see what the structure will be. Grossly, there is a national commission and there will be several state councils from every state under it. The commission shall maintain a register called the Central Allied and Health Professionals Register. And this particular register will be something which will get populated from the state council and directly in the manner that will be specified by the National Commission. Most of it will happen through the state registers. As we register in the state, it will directly come to the National Commission. But there are two other provisos to this, meaning one is an online, direct, and for those states which do not have a state council, it will be directly to the National Commission. The Act itself, in its section 65, gives powers to the central government to make a notification and thereby make the rules. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on May 27th did release such a notification, and that is covering mainly three aspects. One is how will someone applies, so they have released a form called Form B. And what will be the certificate of practice, and how will it show? And that certificate is called Form C. And what if someone acquires more qualifications and wishes to get it entered into the register, that I am more qualified now than what I was at the time of registration? That is Form D. So with these things, three things on, the form for application has been now released. On receipt of report of registration of a person in a state register or an online application as Form B, the name of professional shall be registered by the Secretary of the National Commission. Now this is important to see. It's on receipt of report of registration of a person from the state register. Form, manner and fee of application. The applicant shall fill application as per the form. The registration fee has been defined, and the form is very simple. I've split it into three parts: name, address, all those. But what is most important is number 12, wherein the details of allied and health qualification for which registration is applied will be there. Name of qualification, name of institution, university, duration of the course, name and address of hospital or institute where internship was done, and date of admission and passing. All this put in together, and once the secretary is satisfied, and with all these attachments which are required, like a provisional certificate from this, all the minor formalities, a registration certificate will be given, and this certificate of registration is called Form C. And this is a small, simple certificate. It's a 2-page thing. I've put it, most of it here: name, sex, parent's name, address, date of registration. It is hereby certified that this is true copy of the above specified names and in the central register. And there are some guidelines to this, very simple guidelines, and the fee is defined. Form, manner and fees, well, that is also defined already. And now comes the Form D, in which a fee as fixed will be given, and one would have an opportunity to add to the register what all additional qualifications have come in. The form is again very simple. It just says what was your previous registration number and what else you have added. That is to be put in, and that will define what it is, with a nominal fee of about 100 rupees. And with the long journey, longer than what we have dreamt of seeing, when Dr. Satya Verma was working hard to get all these days to reach, and today we are right there. We have come a long way from where we began, and now what is awaited is formation of state councils. Haryana has taken the lead, and they've already announced state council with several rules. Advertisement for registration in each state will come in soon, and it's expected to be completed by September 2023. This was just a summary of where we stand today. My contact details are here. In case anyone would wish to contact me later, it's possible. And we would actually, I would not take too much time, and will want to listen more to Dr. Satya Verma, such an experienced and celebrated person. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think before we would listen to comments, there are many hands raising, and I would like to brief everybody. Yes, each one of us has a question in our mind. Please raise your hand or put in the chat box. We will come up. But before we begin, I think one of the best persons sitting here with us is Dr. Seema Lal Gupta. Dr. Seema Lal Gupta, we all know, is an optometrist, of course, who is born in India, but she was totally in US and has studied from US. Dr. Satya Verma was a mentor also. She was here 7 years, and we were associated in university also. So she is presently gone back to US, is the director of health services at Anesthesia House and federally funded nonprofit organization. She is the former director of the Optometry Ansal University, Gurgaon, where she was. So we would like to hear more from her perspective, because she has seen both the worlds. She has seen the US optometry and she has seen the Indian optometry. And of course, the bill has been passed now, and we will take up the discussion. But Dr. Seema, before I think we begin everything else, I would like you to comment and brief, sir, what was your perspective about the optometry that you saw here and the difference that you see there.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again, Professor Monica, for inviting me to join on this very special occasion where we are saluting Dr. Verma. I had the honor and privilege to work and interact with many of you that are participating today, some of the senior most optometrists in India. And what I learned so much from all of you is how you are so dedicated to this profession, how you are pushing and encouraging the students to keep taking optometry in India forward. Now, after 7 years of experiencing your fight and your always encouragement, India still has a ways to go. And I know you will reach there, but it is still an uphill battle. So for example, something that I was always teaching my students is you have to prove yourself because you are very capable. The level of intelligence, awareness in the students of India, I honestly have not even seen through all of my education in US. You students are very comparable, even excelling in this field. So I hope that you all will continue the torch that has been lit by these leaders that are here in front of you and continue. Because just as Dr. Verma started in India and then came to US, has achieved so much here, I can share my example. I am an OD from the United States, and I actually met Dr. Verma in the public health arena of optometry. We were first introduced from the American Public Health Association with the vision care section, where we were encouraging optometry and vision care in general public health. And now, as I have returned to the United States, I am not serving only as an optometrist. Optometry is so recognized in the US, I'm actually a medical director. So I have MDs under me, I have dentists under me, I have optometry, because US envisions all of us together. So we are all ultimately trying to take care of the entire patient. And so only when all of our disciplines come together can we achieve that. And so as an Indian, as an optometrist, now back in the US, I feel so fortunate to have this opportunity. And I want to see that, and I know that this will also happen in India. One thing I wanted to point out is as I returned to the US and I came to a different state, I immediately had to obtain a license in this state. I already had a license in 2 different states, but again, I had to prove my credentials and make sure, especially because in the United States, optometry allows the prescribing of medications. So I had to prove that I am skilled and licensed to do that. And I think as Professor Monica and this entire team is trying to regulate that in India, we will achieve the same goals. It's only happening with all of your efforts. I have so much respect for you. I hope I will continue being able to participate in this very important crusade. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Seema. As a good friend, I really miss her. I know it was good luck for US, but anyway, we'll still be connected forever. I think we'll open the box now and we will have directly whenever Dr. Satya is always here to answer. I think the first friend who's coming forward is Prema. Prema is the principal of Lotus College and has so much to speak. I think, Prema, your hand raised first. You'd like to speak to Sir first.
So thank you so much, Monica, for inviting me for this forum. I wouldn't miss it for a lifetime. It's always such a pleasure to see Dr. Verma. I think I'm among the lucky people probably in this forum who's enjoyed Mrs. Asha and his hospitality back home. We were invited to stay with him. And over the years, that was around 20 years ago. And I think over the years, our bonding only grew stronger. And he's always been a mentor for me. whether I needed to enroll for an FAO or for a diplomate or pursue my PhD, or work towards, for the betterment of the profession. I think all my inspiration came from him, and of course, Mr. Baliwala, because that's exactly how we met. And sir, I think today's, you've heard Rajeshji taking us through the council. If you remember 20 years ago, you gave us a very, very good mantra, and I think it still holds very good. Educate, participate, and then legislate. I don't know if you remember the mantra, but I've remembered it over the years. And I think that's like what Dr. Seema said. We have a long way to go. Yes, we need to strengthen our education and our community participation, and then work towards the legislation. So I think, sir, it's not too far that we would see what Dr. Seema was expressing, a state-wise license. Every state council will be formed. We need all of us will be licensed, and when we move from one state to another, maybe we need to, take the licensure again. So I think that's what we are looking forward for, and I think you can't have somebody more than Dr. Verma to look upon, and maybe who knows, our next generation would somebody be signing off therapeutics like what you did. And I think that's my earliest memories when I was walking through his living room many years ago. He was showing me how optometry is grown, and I don't know how many chapters of American optometry he's been instrumental in writing. So I do hope that one day we have, Indian optometrists also signing off those kind of documents, and we really, really look forward to your guidance even in future, sir. So in fact, ASCO itself was his brainchild. When he came to India, he motivated us. He had multiple meetings with different groups and said ASCO should be formed. So ASCO is now 20 odd years old and doing very well. I'm not very active on the board now, but I know it is doing very well, and under your able supervision, it was formed, and I think it was one of the best moves for Indian optometry education as such. So thank you. We can only keep thanking him. He's done so much for us. It's not just enough just to, to look
And
at
that's really what we are, and that's what we want to hear. And Dr. Satya, there's so many people who have done certain achievements who are here with us, and really we need
people
your
should know what he's done for us, right? So that's why I would wanted to share that there are so many young people on this
yes,
group listening, and they, probably don't know what he's done for us over the years.
yes, that's exactly
We can't
what
thank you enough, sir. We can't thank you enough.
Thank you. And who else? So there are so many others, and I want everybody to just talk over
I
to
think
Dr. Satya.
Lakshmi is
Lakshmi
waiting
is
to
waiting
speak
also.
as well.
Yeah. So Lakshmi is now the CEO of Optometry Council of India. Of course, last 2013 onwards, she's been really pushing it. So Lakshmi, comments from you.
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Verma. I hope you're doing well. And, as Prema said, I don't think we can thank you enough. I definitely remember the Agra meeting where ASCO with, your guidance, Prema, Amod, Vivek was formed. And with Brian at the helm later, then Brian's consultation with you and many others in the formation of the Indian Optometry Federation as well. Thanks a lot for all your guidance, and you've always been there, and whenever I meet you at the academy, when I travel for IACL every year, you've been always, it's not that because you're in US, you wanted to, have nothing to do with Indian optometry or anything. You've always been in touch, always eager to listen to what's happening on the ground as far as Indian optometry is concerned, and definitely willing to contribute and help us in whatever we do. So thanks a ton. And, as Prema said, educate, participate, and legislate. I guess I would say quite confidently, as Seema also said, I think we've laid a pretty good foundation. We've formed ASCO we've had the self-regulatory body, we've had the entry competency levels all set up. We've kind of looked at upgradation models for lateral entry from diploma to degrees. So I think, as a profession, we've set a good base for the Act. And that's some comment that even the ministry has always given us in terms of, participation and discussions with them, in terms of saying, you guys have a very good idea of and very well organized compared to other professions as well. So thanks for all the guidance. And I'm sure you'll be happy to see the Act come through and implemented, which is the most important part. I think now is when the ball gets more tougher to get rolling, and to see it the way that we really want it to have as the profession grows in optometry. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much, Lakshmi.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I think Dr. Kumar also wants to speak. Dr. Narendra Kumar, so you're there? You need to unmute, sir. Okay. Okay, so we have many other friends who are wanting to talk to you. And we also have Chandrasekhar Chauhan, who's there from US, of course, another person. Amod is here. Amod also wanted to share as Amod. There are limited people I see on the screen. Okay, so we will have Dr. Kuldeep Raizada. He's a big entrepreneur, and I think he's bringing up low-cost devices. He's also raising his hand to share a few words. Kuldeep, from your end. Yes, light is bright.
Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Dr. Satya, and good evening to everybody. I see, how your contribution actually helped the national health bill to pass, and we all follow your advice and things. I think we are already in a very good shape. And as time will pass, we will follow how the US actually made things progress in the area of optometry. I am just, on the other side of the wall, like working on the entrepreneurship or working on the development of the new devices or things. So things are going on with that way. And I hope like my contribution toward the optometry, the people recognize over 10 to 15 years down the line, like how things changes, because now India is changing and a lot of development actually happening it. But yes, of course, all the well-wishers and the leaders like you, we always look forward to hear and learn. And of course, we will follow all of you. But many, many congratulations for getting on the Hall of Fame. As from the India, we are very proud of all of you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. I think Ajit sir, as a good friend, when you brought him and he's more concerned about your match today, I think we'll let you speak now, and then Dr. Verma, and then everybody else follows the chat. Who was there? So
good evening, and good evening everyone here. I'm in Croatia, waiting for a match to play tomorrow morning with Germany. So that's something exciting, and I'd like to hear a lot from Satya. He has been our guide. He was the presidential envoy in 2002, 2003 to India from WCO president. When we really became close, we traveled from one state to another, met all the leaders, all the educators, and worked out how we should be proceeding for formation of ESCO, IOF, and that's the journey we have seen. And few things from Satya's life, I was very, when I read his bio, I was so impressed that from 1962 onward, we always fear that you have 4 years of education and 5 years of education. He took on profession in 1963 at Aligarh as a diploma in Gandhi Eye Hospital. And he has been studying from 1962 to 1995. Can you believe for 30 years he has took one education? He did diploma in optometry. He didn't stop that. Then he did his Bachelor of Arts. I don't know why he did that. I'll ask him about it. And then he went to US to complete his OD from Pennsylvania College. And then he did not stop from one diploma to another associate to another MPH. till 1995, he was studying all along. And when he started getting award from one award to another award, I don't think anyone, even in US optometry, has got so many awards. And what I find very exciting and very amazing, we get once in a lifetime optometrist of the year award. He has got 3 times optometrist of the year award. He has got 3 times the OD of the year. Dr. Satya, I have 2 questions from you. What did you do in 1996 and 1997 that you got OD of the year and you got optometrist of the year? So how these 2 years were so special? That is my first question. And I like to know exactly what you did when you were the president at your state, Pennsylvania College of Optometry, got therapeutic right. What was your lobbying? What did you do really? What was your mantra to get that right for your state? You must have done something really excellent, really exciting for American optometry, and we need to hear from you here, sir. Thank you. So I have a few more questions. After he answers me, then I'll put those 2 more. Dr. Satya,
Yes,
please just
yes,
let us know what was your journey and
yes. Over to you. I think, Dr. Satya, we have so much to talk, but we'll come in between. I think we'll leave it to you now. Address everybody.
Well, first of all, let me say I'm overwhelmed, and I want to thank all of you for your kind words. And it has been a wonderful, wonderful journey starting in 62 for me. And I think to respond to a few of the questions that Ajit has just raised, why did I do my BA? It was a very funny question that you asked, because when I was doing it or did it, my uncle in Delhi asked me, why did you have to do BA now? So, and to tell him at that time that, it's a part of education. You learn, you cannot, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. So I joked with him and I told him that, in India, if you, for any reason, are jailed, that if you have a bachelor's degree, you don't get to 3rd-class jail, you get to a 2nd-class jail. So I was just doing it so that at least in case anything happens, even for raising my hand or political reasons, if I go to jail, because at that time I wasn't thinking of United States. That was not in my dreams. Well, I shouldn't say it wasn't in dreams, but it was not on the cards at that point. So I said, that's what I did. So I said, at least if anything happens, I would not be treated as a 3rd-class citizen. At least I would get 2nd-class citizenship. So that's one thing, but that was just one way of expressing it. But in reality, the key thing is, my father always told me, education is the most important thing. That any wealth you have, any property you have, it will be shared by other people. You have brothers, you have sisters, they will take part of it from you. It's education that you get. Nobody can share it away, take it away from you. So you will always own up to it. And that is what kind of, in my mind, has been, you don't need to get degrees and you don't need to get diplomas. That is very, very important. But at the same time, the most important thing is that you just learn, as they say, I've heard mostly that if you keep your eyes and ears open, you can learn a lot, and your mind open, because that's when mindset is the most important thing. Is if you don't have it, you kind of, lag behind. So now I'm glad to hear, well, if I keep talking about these things, we can circle back on some of this, but let's focus mostly on the important thing at hand. First of all, I am delighted to hear and see when I saw, and Ajit had sent me originally a copy of the commission being formed. I do have few questions on that issue myself, and obviously is the commission that has been formed. How much is the input from optometry in this formation, and how much is it coming from up or outside or from the administrative forces or other outside professions? Any idea?
I think some of the leaders who are here in the group would like to answer. Ajit sir, you would like to say that?
Yeah, I think I couldn't hear his voice, and I couldn't get the question because I think there was some in the audio.
Let me try it again.
Yeah.
The audio.
Now,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Shall I repeat?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, repeat, sir.
Yeah. So what my question was that the commission has been formed. I'm assuming that everybody is very happy about having this commission now. The question is, because the devil is always in the details. And the key thing is looking at is the formation and the terms and what will entail. Was it suggested by optometry, or it came from outside sources?
Okay. So sir wants to actually know that what we had proposed, have we got whatever we wanted, or is it the formation has happened, or for me, what I can understand, we had some differences in what we were proposing and asking, but the document came up. One major thing that I would say, we were listed as ophthalmic sciences, whereas in this bill, the category was saying as physiotherapist and radiologist or whatever it came in like that. But for optometry, it came as ophthalmic sciences, and they specified these terminologies of ophthalmic assistant, vision technician, optometry, all under one umbrella. So I think the mess, I don't know whether it will clear up. It's the opinion of all of us who are sitting in this to describe it to sir what you think about the bill that came and what we asked for. Have we got it?
I think it's good and it's not good, basically.
Yes.
Sense of the word, because it's good that at least you got something that you can hang your hat on. Okay. But most important thing is that if you are lumped with others, how do you get distinguished? How do you reach out? So process is, and since it is being formed now, okay, and even the other states are going to be following it. And you just mentioned Haryana has just started going in that direction. And there are up till I heard 2023 is the time frame in which they should be forming. So the objective should be that we should be trying to put our hands now in there. As much effort you need to make now, which will be a lot less than the effort you may have to make later once everything has been put in place. So that should be and using the merits of it. I think, you can't say we are the greatest on earth, so we should be given. So using the merits of it, the pros and cons develop in this one. Yes, thank you. First of all, thank them for developing this commission, which has been long overdue. However, it may or may not serve the very purpose that it is being designed for. Therefore, we want to suggest, you can't demand from them. That was my question. Who will be the commission members? Who is going to appoint the commissioners? Who is going to do all that thing? So that is where the most important thing comes in, because the commission that will have power will depend on who appointed them. The ophthalmology appointing them?
Yeah. I think we will brief you about that commission, and I think the best person who talks about it is Ajit, who's understood the constitution. But even my understanding says the commission constitution has so much, it's not in our favor, I would say, if we have to fight it out. I would request Ajit Bhardwaj, if he is there or his networks connecting, to talk about it, or otherwise anybody in the forum who can comment and brief sir about the bill. the statements here. Rajesh sir, would you have an idea about the commission? Lakshmi, you are here also. I think Rajiv Prasad has just joined. He is representing the Asia Pacific board also and the secretary of Indian Optometry Association. So I think the commission formation is totally not in our favor. It is the members are such that there'll be hardly any one or two seats in it where we will have a representation. It will be with a rotation, and most of it is the bureaucrats and the other leaders who are going to be there. So it's not going to be a easy voice for us to even talk about it and prove it, I think. Anybody would like to say? Yeah.
Monica, if I may go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
So it may not be so bleak also. Yes, I agree that it's going to be a mix of all professions, because this is not just an optometry council, but it's going to be a council for all healthcare professions that were not earlier under any legislation. But the good, I think I would, it's about looking at the glass half full or half empty, right? So I'm looking at the half full part of it, where I think one, the detail, as Dr. Verma said, is how the profession has been first defined. I think that's a very, very powerful definition, because the definition by default gives all healthcare professions curative, diagnostic, rehabilitative rights. So irrespective whether you're a physiotherapist or an optometrist, you've got that right by the act of the law. I think that's the first strength of the commission, right? The second is, at least the government is open to listening to all the professions that are involved or who are going to come under this act. So I think the first thing they did was, which could almost be 7 or 8 years ago, was first making sure that the education part of was in place. So we were all asked to sit through multiple state level meetings and submit a curriculum for each of our professions. And optometry had the freedom to choose what they wanted to put into the 4-year education program. I think so that was our first battle, which we won, right? So we could propose a curriculum, we could propose the levels. So that was something which we were given a voice. And now when the state councils are also being formed, we've been told categorically by the Ministry of Health that if we want to make recommendations, we are free to do that, so that, you know, they could take them. And if you remember, Dr. Verma, when you proposed the formation of saying you should have an ASCO and you should have a self-regulatory board. So when there is a system in place, the government will readily adapt what is there, because nobody wants to reinvent the wheel. So fortunately for us, when the curriculum was asked for, we already had something to look at, because ASCO had written a curriculum by then. So we already had a curriculum, and now we have a reasonably good self-regulatory mechanism, which is just now in place by the profession. We have an association in IOA. We have a federation that has got a voice from all the states. So I think, although it may not be very easy, but as you said, we are not in a position to demand. And as Monica said, it may not be easy for us to get our voice through, but we definitely have an opportunity to voice. It's not that we will not be heard at all. It's an uphill task, but I'm reasonably sure that if we have come this far, we will be able to take it further. So I think the biggest strengths I see in the commission is A, in the definition, B, in the educative curriculum, where we had the freedom, formation of the state councils, right? And I think above all, it's also the fact that they have defined the number of hours and a minimum who will be called. They've given a separate code for a diploma holder and a separate code for a graduate optometrist. I think that's also important, because this was a very, very gray line for many years. you know, and most important, anybody down the street with no qualification also could call themselves an optometrist. Now it says you need to have had so many hours of education. And I think these are all the aspects about the commission which are very positive for me. And I'm reasonably sure if we've come this far, we will be able to take it much higher than what it is at this point in the favor of optometry.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's really positive note about it. Ajit sir, I think you were disconnected. If you've joined in again, I think you are more accurately, you can brief sir. The question he had put up was, what is the status of the commission formation and would our voice be easy said, as Prema has already briefed that where we have reached? If you could describe the constitution of this commission to him.
Oh, Satya, to give you the background, when the bill was put in the parliament, it was so thoroughly discussed that the parliament did not take a decision by itself. They forwarded the bill to a standing committee of health. And that standing committee of health, they invited all the associations who were in their radar, whether it was optometry associations, whether it was ophthalmic assistant association, whether it was diploma associations, whether it was ophthalmologist associations, or whether they were NGOs. So almost they heard from everyone. They invited everyone. Even every association of optometry was invited, to my knowledge, to hear what exactly they wanted. And the government did a very thorough job on this. And only problem what we felt is just that within the professions, ophthalmic assistant they did not want to come along with optometrists, and they had a different point of view on optometry as such. So as a result, it was difficult for optometry to have difficult for the government to have just association of optometrists. So we exactly wanted to form a council for optometry, but we did not succeed in it because there were there were so many fractions within optometry. And as a result, we were put under ophthalmic councils. And that is something which, as you rightly said, that something is better than nothing. And so we had to accept that. And that is the way in near future, we will see how we can just culminate our aim has been, as you rightly said, that we should have been united right from the beginning. But unfortunately, with our good effort from 2010 to 2020, we still could not motivate or could not join ophthalmic assistant who are working for government or in private sector to come along with optometry. And as a result, we had to, have a separate council which from optometry, and we were put under ophthalmic council. But what I feel is just that as it is, the bill is very open. Bill is very, I think, is very encouraging that we have diploma, we have degree, and we have a way forward to connect the two together. So it is now in the state of the state, as you know, just like US, India has the same format. The health is a state subject, so it will be up to the states now because the central ruling is over. What the central government is given its verdict. Now it is up to the state how optometrists in state put themselves in a position of lobbying with the state health department. And as you know that how every state is so differently oriented. Likewise, in India also, every state is different. You don't have a BJP government. Some states, they have a different government. So they will act differently and they will think differently, and they may not even like to follow what center is saying after the bill is formed. So it is up to the state optometry associations to take the process forward. And I've been talking to every leader in optometry that you should form a good association in each state so that you can lobby well and you can take the profession forward. That's my approach to it.
I think that gives a good explanation. And first of all, I agree with you both that we should look at half glass, which is full, rather than half glass empty. The most important thing I would say in that case is they look at the emptiness of the glass, because that's what you need to fill it. We can't sit on this saying, okay, now we at least got half a glass of water, let's keep drinking it. And soon it will be drained out completely. So we have to make sure that we keep adding to this glass of water and not sit with the idea that it has worked. It's very interesting. When I came to United States, we didn't even have diagnostic drugs. We could not do tonometry on the patients. because it required anesthesia and optometrists were not permitted to use anesthesia. So optometrists instead tried to develop a tonometer that did not require anesthetic. And that's what done. Actually, it was done at Berkeley Laboratory. McKay Marg was the first tonometer that was developed that did not need an anesthetic. And I used to joke with these guys here, and I said, hey, I thought I had come to develop optometry, and I am coming here from India, where I was dilating patients before I came here. And here you can't even touch the bloody eyeball, and you are talking to me about it. So, you know, we did talk about that. And actually, the bill we had, and, you know, you are right that each statewide things happen. The first bill we had was in here was also for all the states individually to get the diagnostics done. That means we were able to, put the anesthetic in the eye and do tonometry and other things like that one. And also dilating drops so that we can dilate the eye, and we can do that. And the question you had raised was that what did I do in the year 1996 that we got the therapeutic bill passed in Pennsylvania? The thing we had to do, not that anything I did, to be honest with you, it's a question of timings as well as leadership things. Because even the year when we got this license, we had disagreements within our own group of people that we shouldn't be accepting what we are getting. We should reject it, not get it. And my question to them was, on what grounds are you saying that? We did not even have legislative majority on our side. We did not have the chairman of the committees which were holding these hearings for granting us the right to do these things, not on our side. They were on ophthalmology side. And so I said, on what grounds we can do that? And the only thing we were able to share with the chair of our licensure committee, he said, and he said to openly when our legislative team met with him, that you should go ahead and take this bill. You have a choice. If you take this now, I am not going to stop you from coming back and asking for more. Okay? The only thing is, if you don't take it now, then don't come to me, because this bill will not even see the light of the day. Because they have the power to hold this thing and not even allow it to happen. So that we had, as a matter of fact, we had a conference call with the Legislative Committee of Optometry within Pennsylvania. And I was actually at a party. So I asked the host that, can I use their bedroom and spend an hour on the phone with my colleagues to discuss these things. And that is the night we decided we are going to accept whatever is being offered now, because, and I said that to them, I said, I would rather be a camel whose at least part of the head is in the tent. I'm not standing outside the tent making slogans and slogans. So it is better to have a little bit of my head inside, than I can shout from inside. I'm likely to be heard more than I am shouting from outside. So that was the tent. And this is mostly coming from our Indian thinking that, camel ka sir agar bahar hi reh jayega to kuch nahi kar payega. Andar aa jaoge to then you can enter the tent fully one day. And I think that is the analogy that I think we should use and look at that. And so given the fact that what you have said is, so that means the power is going to be in the state things. And as Ajit said, that each state is different, run by differently, and by no means what works for America can work for India. because each is totally different process, different things, So what you need to do is you have to know your strengths. And believe me, the infighting is nothing new for India. Infighting has gone. Oh, okay.
Sorry, sir.
So what we have to do is make sure we understand our own politics, what are our own strengths and what are our own weaknesses, and then use these strengths to infiltrate and try to improve on the weaknesses. Hey, yes, infighting is going on, and how do we minimize that? Unfortunately, the problem comes in when people are looking at self-interest rather than the bigger interest, the bigger picture. And unless we grow out of it, unfortunately, we will have to live with this mentality. We can't change that. But you can do that if you put forth, don't think of people now, most people who are in their 60s and 70s in optometry in India. I think they feel, hey, I don't have to worry about this thing. I don't have to do anything like that. So I think they should look at, fine, you sit down with respect. Now let the younger generation not suffer. You are done with it. You are okay. You have taken it for granted, and you are happy with what you've gotten. That's fine. That's okay. But don't deprive your next generation of optometrists. Don't let them be suffering. Now, yes, I remember that when we discussed in 2002 and 3 with Ajit and others, and when we had WCO meeting and the formation of the ASCO idea, and also the federation idea was done. And guess what? ASCO got together right away. But the federation idea took a lot longer. And obviously, even I think when Brian got involved with it also, that was good, because he did say, okay, go in there, start something. Most important thing, as I had mentioned earlier, and I'll say it again, that even with this legislation, education does not end. Education continues, because the more you educate yourself, more you can ask for more. If you are not even educated high, you can't ask anything. Okay, so I think the most important thing is now also continuing. So one thing is penetrate into the states, especially the states that are starting. You know what happens is other states follow suit sometimes. Even all the legislators that you are meeting, they don't know anything about most of these bills. They are hand raisers from their party. They look at other party members who has done it. So you need to get to the party chief, because the terms are dictated by the chiefs. If you get them, the rest of the people, because they don't know anything, literally speaking, majority of them don't. Even not only there, even in this country, they don't. Even here, they depend on the signal from their other colleagues, people who are in more authority legislatively, so that they can tell them exactly who to vote, and they do vote. Sometimes individuality comes in, and part of the problem, that's why what we have to do here, and we are still doing it, even as of today, we are getting another bill in national legislature, because there are certain things which are nationally done and states have to follow. There's no choice in that matter sometimes. And right now we have a bill with the Biden administration, a healthcare bill in which we are seeking something which optometry screwed and ophthalmology screwed us in 65 or 75. Okay. And that was when Medicare was passed in this country. They decided at that time that refraction is what optometrists do. So they decided that in the mainstream things, they said Medicare should not cover refraction. They would cover Oh, yes. Even up till today, refraction is not a covered benefit for Medicare beneficiaries.
Oh my God. Oh, really?
Yes. It is paid by the patient.
Right.
Okay. I can bill for my eye exam to Medicare. And for that also, we have been granted the same status as ophthalmologist or any physician for that matter. So we are categorized as physicians under Medicare, and we can bill for it. And up till now, refraction is not a covered benefit. Now, this year, there is a movement now coming in, and optometry is on the forefront. The AOA has been very much engaged in the process, and we are now reaching out to our own legislators to approve this thing. We have put in the part of the Biden's new $3.5 trillion bill that is going in there, in which this vision benefit will be included in that part. So we are not stopping there because we haven't. And even 65, so when the Medicare bill was passed, that's when the language was put in there, and we were not included actually at that time in the Medicare coverages. We could not bill for Medicare. It was until 79, 80, I remember being part of that effort that we should have Medicare consider optometrists as physicians for providing the services. And it was Jimmy Carter who had signed the bill. And I remember going all over talking about Medicare and talking about how we can improve our status within the Medicare to do these things. And we did that. And up till now, since 1982, now we are in 21, not have that refraction covered. You know, incidentally, to give you an idea, because how the symbolism matters, and Narendra Kumar probably would remember it more than most of you will in this group, and that was that when the diploma courses were established in India, Ligad and Sitapur, and they were trying to say it will be diploma in optometry, so DOPT. So we, some of us said to them, well, I wasn't there actually at that time, but whoever was there, a foresight on their part was that we should be calling it instead of DOPT, we should be calling it DROPT. That makes it diploma in refraction and optometry. But the underlying reason was totally different. And the difference was that when you say DR, it will be construed by people as doctor. DR symbolizes doctor and doctor of optometry. So that's how this was. They didn't know what our intention was at that time, but they said, oh yeah, the logic was rare that diploma in refraction and optometry makes sense. So first of all, two things were helpful in that. One was refraction and one was optometry. So that language helped us do that. So similarly, what I feel, now is the time to use the foresight and reach out to states they are starting. You know, you should be vigilant. I know it takes a lot of effort. And a lot of us are busy in our day-to-day lives and feel that these things take second burner. You know, we sit out and say, okay, let somebody else take the lead. I will follow up. No, each one of you have to be an equal participant in this process if you want it to work. Otherwise, somebody else will dictate the terms of what happens and what does not happen. So our effort in then, that's the year when I was president, we got our therapeutic bill was that we got what we didn't get what we wanted, all of it, but we got some of it. And then we built on it. We did not have glaucoma treatment privileges at that time. We got glaucoma privileges included in that so that we were able to treat now glaucoma as that. Initially, it was that any medication that there was a list of medications that were approved by the Secretary of Health far that can be done. And we were finding that sort of annoying to us. Why the hell, the ophthalmologists don't have to go through anything. Why the hell we have to go through this process? And part of this thing was then now we had another legislation go in there, and now we have been able to take that out from the hands of the Secretary of Health. Rather, now it is in the hands of the State Board of Optometry. They are the ones who approved it, so they don't even, and State Board of Optometry is run by optometry, not by ophthalmologists. We are making the calls on all these things. So the most important thing in this case is, yes, whatever you get it, but don't sit on it. Don't sit on it. You need to continue the effort. You know, it is a lifelong battle. It is not a one-day battle. It's not a one-week battle. It's not a one-month battle. And we have to continue to do that as long as we don't get what we want. We should not rest. We should not sit on our laurels. Oh, thank God we got this. We should be happy and we should be thankful that we got this. No. The key thing is, and again, I go back to the original thing as Prema had said, and I still do remember it, educate, prepare yourselves, and then you can go for legislation. And the only way you can go there is that you have something to show. Otherwise, they say, what are you talking about? When we did these things, education was key front that we had to take additional courses. Everybody had to pass these courses. There were examinations attached to these. And if you did not pass it, you could not do that. We had a very small percentage of older ODs who did not want to take more education. They did not have that privilege to treat conditions. At that point, they continued on, but then that cadre of people has completely vanished. Nobody is there now in the same category that they are not able to do things they were able to do at one time. So my point will be to reach out to the states with strength, with information, with knowledge, and educate them the importance of doing this thing. And I heard, I think Lakshmi is heading OCI for you guys. Okay, keep that alive. Strengthen it, because that is what you may be able to give to the states, give to the commission, and seek out more, power for the optometry program. So, I hope sort of this gives you a little bit of thought process. And
thank you, Dr. Verma.
Thank you.
Actually, I just wanted to say a few things, Dr. Verma. I heard you saying, how do we get the half glass full, the other half full? Half is full, how do we get the other half full? I think we kind of have had the first steps in the sense more and more optometry degree colleges, diploma were more in number, but now I think we have around 165 graduate colleges. We can't speak that all of them are of the same standard, but I think someday we'll get there. And also trying to, have upgradation programs for the diplomas, so that as and when the other half tries to get full with the graduate optometrists, I think that's when we'll have more and
I
got frozen.
Sujay, Sujay has raised hand. Sujay,
with you getting in the tent.
Yeah. Sujay, you would like
to Monica, may I speak now?
Please.
Can I speak now?
Yeah.
So I'll quickly make a few points. First of all, I think I want to make a few positive points. I think after 2-3 decades of hard work of several of us who are here and who are not here, including Naval Baliwala sir and Dr. Satya Verma and many of my colleagues who have put in hard work like Lakshmi and Prema and Ajit and Rajiv Prasad and Monica and so many. I think it's a very good time for optometry that we have at least got the half glass full. So we should be thankful for that. And we should accept it as Dr. Verma is saying, because even now he's saying that refraction, they're trying to include now in the mediclaim in US. So it's a journey. So first we should be we should all come together and accept that, yes, great, something good has happened, and let's all catch on to that one half glass full and be united together. This is my first point. I have a few other comments to make and a few questions for Dr. Verma and the rest. The other comments are that now that it is more and more clear that it is now left largely to the state to implement this, because the detail is important, as Dr. Verma said. And I think something similar must have happened in the United States maybe 30, 40 years back. So each state has a different situation. So what I'm saying is that some of us senior optometrists in each state should try hard to get on to these state bodies with the government. And Haryana has taken a lead, and maybe Maharashtra is forming, and so on and so forth. But I'm now sitting in Karnataka as of now. Of course, Lakshmi is also there. We need to do something at every state level, and most of us should try and catch on to some of these bodies, because if we leave it to the bureaucrats or non-optometric personnel, each state will have something different, and a bigger khichdi, if I may, will emerge. This is the second point I'm making. And then a couple of questions. See, I think industry is a very important aspect. I'm not saying because I'm from industry, I'm talking as an optometrist now, because industry employs a lot of qualified or unqualified optometrists, and that has been a debatable question for all of us for many years. And I'm sure all of us want qualified and trained and skilled optometrists. So we need to include industry somewhere in this, because if we have industry on our side, then I think that an additional power will emerge, because they have leverage with the governments, they have money, and so on. So how does that come in? Maybe Dr. Verma can guide us what happened in the US. For example, large eye hospital chains like Dr. Agarwal's, large optical chains like Titan, Lenskart, etc. They all employ large number of optometrists across the country. So they need to get into this and participate in the legislation process. So this is another point. So my points are thus: one is state level, how do we all get in and what do we do? Second is that how do we include industry in it, and what are the comments of others over here?
Yeah,
and
I think Sujay, you're right to say, and we have certain states which are really doing well as far as optometry is concerned. Dr. Rizwana is.
Monica, I just have a third point, and then I'll keep quiet. The third point is that information going down to each one of us. We are all, I think in this forum, there's some 30, 40 people, and 25 of us are senior. And as Dr. Verma has said, that our career is almost at the last decade. So the next generation should benefit from this. So my point is, how do we ensure that the information trickles down to each state, each optometrist, each, down the tree on what is to be done, how is to be done, like the filling the forms and this and that. I'm sure I'm jumping the gun, but my anxiety is coming from the detail that how do we become responsible, all 20, 30 of us become responsible and ensure that the right information reaches all the optometrists, and the rightful ones get the registration, and the ones who need to upgrade get the opportunity, and ones who cannot need to be out of the system. So my point is sitting there. So my questions are very three. One is state-wise, second is industry, and third is how does the information trickle down? How do we remain united and still not play the game of OCI, IOF? And we are all one finally now. I mean, it's high time we all come together and look at the half glass full and build the half glass empty together. That's my point. I rest my case, and I'll wait for Monica and Dr. Verma and the other senior colleagues to respond.
I think it's, yes, getting late, but we would like quickly to, why there are excellent questions. Thank you, Sujay. And yes, state-wise, we would say some states have really, I would brief you, Dr. Satya, some states are really doing very good and they are consolidating their members, but most of these states have nothing at all, practically nothing at all. So would you like to address what Sujay has asked, and would you like to advise us on that?
Absolutely. I think Sujay has raised good questions, and I think we need to address them. And I will address in a little bit differently. First, his question was a state, and I'll address that maybe second or third. First is the industry. Industry is the backbone of, they are not only hiring so much optometrists, but at the same time, they are should be supporting optometry financially. Industry has the money. Individual optometrists don't have the money, and money is needed to run anything. Doesn't run by itself. You guys are giving up all your time and effort and some money as well, but you need big sums of money to really do a great job on doing things. And industry is the place where the money is. We can't deny it. Optometry in the United States, the industry support wasn't there. We wouldn't be able to do anything, literally speaking, without having that support. So first thing is having support two ways. One is educating the industry heads. You should have a meeting with the industry heads and talking to them, hey, stop taking the unqualified people, because don't encourage that issue. We don't want the increase of unqualified programs and programs that are substandard. We want to raise the standards. We want to make sure the quality of the care that we are able to provide that is really great. And I think, and you want them that if they won't take the less qualified people, the less qualified people would know, hey, look, our days are numbered in that sense, that if we cannot continue to be in that mode. And what you need to do in that case also, which is additionally more important, is have the bridge courses to allow them to upgrade themselves so that they are not sitting at the level they were. Don't close the door on them. Keep the door open for them so that they can upgrade themselves, become more qualified, competency level, and be a part of the mainstream. Okay, so that is one area, and I think that's education-wise. And then ask them, hey, we can't do it alone. We need your financial support as well. And that has to be done very importantly. And the second thing is information. Information is very, very important. My suggestion is the third part, now I'm going to address that, is that all states are not going to be in a position, and I mean in optometry, in a position to be able to do all the things you're talking about. You need to have at the national level, for the all India level, a legislative committee. Okay, that's 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, whatever that you feel, a functional committee whose job is to see which state is now going in there and reach out to optometrists in that state. If there is an organization there already, you reach out to them. They don't know much. They are in there. So this national legislative committee should be the one charged with the responsibility to ensuring that these states get the guidance they are needing, they need the support they need, and education they need to make sure that these things are included in these at the state levels. So I think that is just one way of doing it. There is no single way to do things, approach things. We have to have a multi-pronged approach in anything and everything we do, because it doesn't work. The first most important part, again, is making sure if you want to increase the number of optometrists participating and involved, is we have to try to include all the optometrists, whether they are fully trained or partially trained, because they are there. They are being accepted someplace. And if you exclude them completely, thinking that, hey, we have a graduate program, we are graduate of 4-year college, you are a graduate from 2-year school. Okay, that is fine, but a person outside, patient, has no clue at all. So in other words, we are the one monitoring them. We tell them, okay, ASCO should take a lead in this because they are in education. Develop bridge programs. I think we had done some of that before. I still may have some junk sitting in my cupboard someplace that we had worked on, developing certain things. that you need a bridge program. And that is what you do, is look at the strengths. We are doing bridge I am a product of bridge program myself, with a diploma in optometry from India, to getting an OD degree from here. When I thought, I mean, it's very interesting. You know, first issue was getting my BA, and the second issue when became getting the OD degree, there was no provision at all. So when I came, I was at Berkeley, and then from Berkeley, I came to Pennsylvania. And so I said, I want to get my OD degrees. They said, well, okay, we can enroll you in OD degree program, spend 4 years, and you can get an OD degree. And I said, well, you know, that sounds wonderful, but why do you think I should spend 4 years? I'm teaching some of the course here. I was teaching contact lenses at that time. I was teaching low vision, something like that time. So I said, why should I have to take 4 years? But the dean at that time at PCO was non-OD. And he said, well, that's what it was. So I said, okay. It was just that year because I was approached, I was meeting with the dean of New England, Boston College of Optometry. And he met me at the academy meeting and he says, well, I don't think you should have to spend all that year. Why don't you come to Boston and we will see what we can do. So I did go to Boston and I met with the program chair. Boston had a flexible type program a little bit. So, and I met with all the heads of the departments in Boston school, and they told me they were going to work on it, see what would I need to improve myself. And it's funny, the chairman of the program at Boston came to drop me off after 3 days spending with Boston at the train station. And he's driving me and he says, Satya, why? And he was a British guy, actually. He says, you know, I am coming to Pennsylvania. I did not know that. He had accepted a position of the president of the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. And he says, you know, I'm coming to Pennsylvania. Now, do you want to come in the Boston and do this thing? How about if we do that in Philadelphia? And I said, well, if that happens, I have no love for Boston. I would like to stay in Pennsylvania. So in that case, so when he came back to Philadelphia, so yes, month he was in the chair and I said, okay, I just went there and I said, okay, let's talk about it now. And he said, okay. So I was told at that time, that, yes, you are allowed to take this. You don't have to take 4 years of courses, but the requirement for you will be, you will have to pass every examination that is given to the students in every course before you will be granted your degree.
Yes, I think that's...
There is no time limit on it. There's no time limit on it. And since I was employed there was no tuition for me either. So all I did was I took my time and I did those courses. Even today, we did not have, after I think I graduated in 75 from there, and we did not have anything go on since then. I was a unique situation created, and I got my degree from there. Now, we do have APOD program in Pennsylvania, which is called Advanced Placement of Optometry Degree. And this is given to students from outside the United States. People who don't have an OD degree, they have had masters from India. We have had people from India. We have people from other countries. And this is called APOD program. And our chair of the program always cites me that we had a graduate a long time ago in the APOD. It was not called APOD. So my point to you is this, that create program for those students those not students, but those graduates from these 2-year programs and develop a program based on, first of all, I'm sure that each school which grants 2 years diploma do not have the same caliber and quality of education.
Yes.
You need to have you need to invest some resources to make sure that, okay, we should customize the advanced placement of degree program in India. And I think you need to do that. You want to bring them to the caliber of a graduate student in order to be everybody in the same boat. But don't close the door on them, because if you do, there will be more infighting and less accomplishment in this score.
Satya, can I?
Yeah, I think concluding remarks, because it's getting pretty late and it's hours and hours we can actually listen. Yeah, you may go ahead and then we will just take up the chat, please.
Satya really touched the pulse about how industry, can support and how industry should support. But the challenge India is facing, that the industry, instead of supporting the institutions or existing education system, they are having their own way of teaching, entrepreneurs, or teaching students who don't have the required qualifications. That is causing an infringement in optometry. So industry need to be told, not only by just me or by a group of people, but by every associations who is on the platform, that the kind of courses they are running, which are just for creating mess in optometry, they need to be stopped first. And industry needs to understand this concept, that however they are supporting in other countries, that is the way forward. Same thing with the optometry change. Some of the optometry change, they have started 6 months courses, 3 months courses, and they want us to regulate them. That's not the way it is going to happen. They need to follow the law. They need to follow the commission. And what Satya has said, we need to be flexible with diploma to make sure that they are upgraded to degree program by giving them more flexibility than what is existing today. And the educators need to look at the way that instead of giving them, regular courses, maybe they can give them, time and basic focus on the competencies rather than the duration of the courses and time-bound limit to them. So don't make it easy for them, that the way the system helped Satya in US, same system we need to create in India, so that diploma holders are upgraded to a degree program. But such short courses, we must make sure that everyone need to make sure that these courses need to be stopped. And some association just because they want some favors from them, get along with them, that need to be stopped. Because until unless you tell all the industry that this is our stand and we stand united on this, this is what industry need to hear from every one of us. And thank you, Satya. I really appreciate your vision. Really appreciate what you have been doing for not just 1 or 2 years, for 50 years you have been teaching at Salus University. And that's something, every educator must be proud. And the way you continue to aspire us today, that we need not be happy with what we have got. That motivates us to, to work more with enthusiasm with every state optometry associations. IUA need to take lead in the states where there are no optometry associations, and where there are none, where they can't reach, they should encourage optometrists to how to form associations so that they can work with state health bodies, state health board, and make sure that we continue to see at even this level optometry has developed in state. They are still fighting for inclusion of optometry or inclusion of refraction in the Medicare. We don't have Medicare rights in India. We don't have even a single job for optometrists in armed forces. That is where we need to focus on at this point of time, and we need to stay collective and stay focused on our. And I haven't heard from anyone in IUA, but I'm sure that they are listening to all this and they need to.
We wanted to
thank you.
I think Rizwana is quickly a last sentence, because she is leading the state association, which is so active. Rizwana, a quick sentence from you.
Yes, ma'am. So it's really inspirational to see Dr. Satya Verma there, and Dr. Satya, my mentor, Dr. Mitchell Scheinman, is also at the Salus, and he has been constantly mentoring me. So it's really good to see you. So I'm going to talk on behalf of the Tamil Nadu Optometry Association, which is in southern India. I'm not going to say anything new compared to like what everybody else said here in terms of how optometry should go, like the way forward for optometry. Totally, we agree with the need to embrace everybody as we just move ahead. And this is actually like we are in the best of the situation at this moment, given the fact that we just not only have the act that's passed, the NCHP Act, but we also have the new education policy, which has so much to offer in terms of what we just discussed, in terms of making this lateral entry options, in terms of making the multiple entry and exit options possible for people. As you said, like take only relevant courses, attend the continuing education programs, and then, be able to build all the bridge courses and stuff like that. So especially considering that health is a state subject, as a state association, we firmly believe in this. And currently, we are just working towards some of our major objectives, which would include, getting the numbers of all our diploma holders, looking at their receptiveness. And of course, I mean, I should proudly say that our association has so much unity. And then we are now looking at what are the colleges in the state that could offer the lateral entry programs, because in the state until 2015, there were not many lateral entry programs for people to really upgrade themselves. So we should not just keep blaming, but we should also look at how we can, make it possible for them. So right now, we are just writing to all the optometry colleges in the state to see how these bridging programs can be developed, what sort of curriculum restructuring can be done. And we are really looking at bringing all of them under and working together as we move forward. And we are also proposing the alignment of the new national education policy and this act, because when we work in alignment with even the government saying that this is how we can put things together, I think we have the success rates are much higher than just saying like, this is not possible, that's not possible. But that's how, as an association, we see things forward.
It's an example that you will set. And I think it's getting pretty late and we want to all, however, still sit for more time. But Dr. Satya Verma, the concluding remarks from you before we just say bye, or bye for another next time we would request you to help us. Your conclusion, sir, again.
Well, I think, again, let me say from the bottom of my heart that I want to thank you, and thank you for inviting me, and encouraging words, and also the enthusiasm that you are showing. And I hope it continues in the time ahead. And I think you need to really reach out to the industry, people who are propagating a short-term courses to meet their need. And I think that's another education that we need to give them, telling them this is very short-sighted on their part. And not only that, if they are doing it just for the money, but they are not doing a service to the patients they serve, the clients, their customers that they are serving. So very important that they do take the lead in this case. And, it will be an investment in their own profits. They will increase because now you will have educated optometrist and educated patient that you are providing care to, which will help in the process. So I think the most important thing in this case is the education, all of them. And the second thing, what I was going to say is, we talk about success and we say what success is. People see success on the surface, but don't see what went into the success. How did you succeed? What was the ingredients that are needed for success? And what I understand from ingredients for success include discipline, commitment, determination, sacrifice, dedication, focus, passion. I think passion is another important thing that we have to have for success. And confidence building, and courage, persistence, and taking risks. And the most important thing, if I can say, is the success is staying with it longer than everybody else has. If you did not succeed, the reason is that even though you worked hard and you did spend a lot of time, but you quit little too soon. Like I always tell my patients, when they come in and if you tell them cataracts, oh, I have cataracts, okay. And they are scared. So I will tell them, people like to love the company. Misery always loves company. So they will say, oh, I have cataracts. And I will tell them, look, you are not alone in this cataract business. You are getting cataracts. And everybody on this earth will get cataracts. And they say, really? My grandmother died 95. She did not have cataracts. And I would tell them, yes, she did not have cataracts. She died at 95. I think she died too soon. If she had lived longer than 95, I can guarantee you she would have developed cataract. So it is one of those things, is don't give up soon on that process. I think we need to continue to strive, and do the best we can. And I realize it's lateness of the hour for you. My day is beginning and your day is ending. Again, thank you. And I can only say this much. I am available anytime I am asked to do anything on behalf of Indian optometry, because that's my passion, that's my love, that is my life. And I would love to see Indian optometry rise to the level that it has the potential for.
Thank you so much. In fact, there are so many messages in the chat which we will forward. Lovely going ahead. Anita, thank you. Everybody, I think, again, we don't want to spend too much time saying thank you, because we, with our heart, have really been appreciating your time, and we look forward to you as a mentor. We will come back to you with questions, because there are so many in our mind what to do. And as you said, we need to be united together. We have to work now, and we don't have to stop now, because I think it's the beginning of the efforts have to be done now. Even if we are the ones who are on the verge of retirement, we need to do it for the next ones. Thank you so much, sir. Anita?
I may request all of you to just switch on your videos for a couple of seconds. I can just screenshot this and share it.
Yeah, so that we can have a good memory with sir.
Yeah, it's such an honor to have Dr. Satya Verma with us today. So I think this is something that we would treasure, a memory.
I really wished each one, Dr. Satya is chatting and they had messages. They wanted to come forward and talk. There are so many senior people who I am feeling sorry we couldn't bring in, because we realized their families must be pointing out it is pretty late. Come back to the room. Otherwise, I wish it was really some more time for us to bring in such big people who have been here in this forum again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess the time difference between the two places.
Yes.
If the time permits.
We really wanted to hear a lot from them, and quite a few leaders. There were many questions that had raised.
Next time we can do little earlier. I am fine early morning. It's 11 for me, was 11 for me. So I can do any time in the morning, because as long as it's more daytime for you guys. So that's, no problem with me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anita, your shot is ready?
Yes, I've taken enough screenshots.
Thank you so much. We can play the video for sir once again for those who joined late. And then your message for sir, please, before you exit, put it in the chat box. And a very good night to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. The recording of this will be available for all.
Natural for me, and I knew that I can be in healthcare field, I can be a doctor, and at the same time may not have to see blood, which was at that time, because now if you think of it, you do see some blood, little bit. But now, of course, I've become older and my heart has become a little stronger to be able to withstand some of the blood. Otherwise, I could not stand. So that's how my beginning in optometry started. And then, ever since then, it became a very great journey. So I was an optometrist in India before I came here.
Dr. Satya Verma is professor and director of externship program at the Pennsylvania College of Optometry at Salus University. He has been honored by the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. He served as the 100th president of the Pennsylvania Optometric Association. It was during his term as president that Pennsylvania optometrists received therapeutic privileges. Dr. Verma has been elected to the Board of Philadelphia Corporation of Aging, one of the largest area agency on aging in the USA. He just completed his term as the chair of awards committee for the American Public Health Association. He was re-elected to serve a 2-year term as chair of National Academy of Practice in Optometry. Currently, he is the president-elect of NAP and also serves on its public policy committee. Dr. Verma has lectured nationally and internationally and has published several papers and chapters in various books and has also authored a manual for eye care in nursing homes. Dr. Verma has received numerous honors. With more than 46 years of experience, Dr. Satya B. Verma has been identified as a pride of Indian optometry. Learn Beyond Vision team feels privileged to welcome Dr. Satya B. Verma and all our guests today to felicitate Dr. Verma on entering the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, everybody. And I hope you had your coffee because you're going to sleep in late now. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.